Haitians make some of the best food ever, and I love this rice. So I've made this rice before and it didn't came out perfect. It's called Djon Djon rice. I know I don't pronounce it properly, but if you're interested in this rice, the very best rice, let's make it together. I feel like I want to do what the black rice today. The Djon Djon rice. If I don't pronounce it right, that's okay. So this is a pack of the black mushroom. So what I'm gonna do now, I put this in a bowl. I think you could have just opened stuff. I guess not. Alright, so I put this and just put it out in our bowl. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I put on 2 cups of water. I'm gonna put that for boil. Alright, so just go through it. Alright, the last time them said me not to wash it, so I now wash it. I did feel some type of way about it, but then I say, when I make hibiscus, when I make sorrel, I don't wash the sorrel. Because when I wash the sorrel, I wash out the color, so the same thing with this. So I won't wash it. Once the water boil, then we're gonna go in and add this. Alright, so just go through it. If you see nothing we need to remove, you remove it. Call this. I want to leave this and I'm gonna show that. Alright, so let's take time to see if it's in a rock or nothing like that. Oh god, I be a dirt this, you know. But we're gonna eat dirt. Nah, kill we. Okay. Alright, so the water boil. I'm gonna turn off the stove. I'm gonna add the mushroom to the pot. I'm just gonna sink it. I'm gonna add the more. I'd rather add water to it than make it long. Right. I think I add more hot water. Anyway, may I cover it. Alright, so we have some shrimp with deveined and have another plate. So the shrimp, I'm gonna go in with some fish seasoning, some Maggi fish seasoning. So I put maybe like a spoonful. Just combine that. Alright, I'm gonna allow this to marinate until we're ready for it. Alright. Alright, so now we're gonna strain off this. Alright, this looks strong and black. Almighty God. Alright, so we're gonna strain it off. Press everything all tight. And make sure not long it out like the last time. Alright. And then we have this. It's look rich. Let's see. If this don't work, I know a 2-pot I have to use, but let's see if using less liquid, I'm gonna make it work out just fine. Alright? Alright, so I'm gonna squeeze this with my hand. See if we can get the excess juice from it. Anybody have a problem with me using my hands? I'm sorry, just close your eyes. Alright, so it's dry now. Alright. And then I'm gonna pour the rest of this into this. Off my hand. Alright, I'll be that. Let me just clean it. Alright, so I'm gonna cook 2 cups of rice. Well, this is 2 and little cleaner because 2 cups is a pound. So I'll cook this amount of rice. Alright, so I'll wash that. So we usually wash the rice until the water runs clear. Most of the times that takes like about 3 times. Alright, so this is going to be the last and final wash. Alright, so we have 2 types of beans. We have the green lima beans and we have with sweet peas. I am going to use this because this is what I like. I see some Haitian people use the sweet peas, but I'm going to use the lima beans. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to add a little olive oil, not too much. Alright, and then we're going with some butter. Allow that to melt down. Alright, as soon as that melts down, we are going with some green seasoning and also some onion. Alright, so I start at this about a minute and then we'll come back. Alright, so we're not cooking too long because we don't want to hold and cook shrimp. So we're going to about 4 minutes. After we're going to add it on top of the rice and let it steam down to a little. Alright, so we're going to give it 4 minutes and then remove it. Alright, give it another minute and come back. Alright, we're going to take out the shrimp then. Master everything is right back off. I'll just add them to something. Alright. So now we're going with the beans. Alright, so let's fry within this time. So let's season the beans. Guys, so just remember some of that the dry shrimp I'm gonna add it to it. Just because I'm gonna have it. Alright, so why not? And a little bit too. Alright, so now we're going with 17 seconds. Alright. Add the pepper. And the Jamaican in me, I gotta add scallion and thyme. Alright, so I'll combine this. I'm gonna taste it and adjust it if it needs to. Alright, so I'm gonna add one of these to the pot. Cover it and make this go on. Beat about 10 minutes and it will come back. Okay. Go with the rice now. Mix this in properly. I want to make sure say all of the rice then get black, get coated with the mushroom. Cover this and make it the thing. Look, you see, I'm going with this because ooh, love it. My white spoon there. You want to scratch the pot. In the kitchen, be nice and disturb my
Something I look up here?
not that.
No, not it. Maybe.
We can't look through the camera right now.